Hello, welcome back to SCI Teach. This is a qualitative analysis video for a mixture of salts, and the salt mixture is made up of copper 2 sulfates, copper 2 tetrahydrosulfate 6, and glucose. So we'll have a mixture of salts in the ratio 1:1 of copper 2 tetrahydrosulfate 6 and glucose. So we're going to analyze that to see the ions present. So you know already that if we're analyzing copper 2 tetrahydrosulfate 6, then we are looking for Cu2 plus ions and SO4 2 minus ions. And if we're analyzing glucose, then we are looking for starch. So it's just basically going to be test for starch, test for glucose to see if glucose is present. So we are going to assume that we don't know that this particular salt is a mixture of copper 2 tetrahydrosulfate 6 and glucose. So we just assume we are given an unknown salt, and then we are going to analyze to find the ions present in that unknown salt. So we're going to carry out different tests to try and analyze to find the different ions, whether the cations or the anions in the salt mixture. Right? So in exam conditions, you will be given steps, as those are tests, and then you could be asked to supply the observation and then infer what does your observation tell. So we're going to see some tests to start analyzing this salt. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like and share the videos to your friends and classmates who are preparing for exams also, so that they will benefit from what you are benefiting. And if you have any problem, any academic problem, and you need help from a professional, feel free to contact me with the phone number displayed on your screen right now. And also, I've mentioned before in my previous videos that we have a classroom where we prepare students for exams, whether it be JAM or NECO or Waec. We have a classroom on WhatsApp where we prepare people for exam, and this classroom is not free. So there's a little fee to pay, but it will help satisfy the problems that you have in your subjects. So if you're interested, send me a message on the line or the phone number displayed on the screen, and we'll be available to take or answer all your problems. All right, remember to share the video. Okay, don't watch and pass, watch and subscribe and share. That's the only way you can say thank you for this content. So please subscribe to the channel, share the videos to others so that they will benefit also, and you spread the news. All right, let's go. So we said we don't know the salt. We assume we don't know that mixture, so we call that unknown mixture C. So the first thing to do is that we're going to turn C into a test tube. If it's not in a test tube already, if it's in a test tube, then we add distilled water. It could be about 10 cm cube of distilled water, or whatever amount of distilled water you are asked to add to C in your question paper. So if we do that, you observe what will happen. Check if the solution will dissolve. If the salt will dissolve. If it dissolves, you go ahead and record dissolved to form a blue solution, because you know the salt is bluish, and once it forms a blue solution, you have in mind that copper may be present here, because blue salt indicates copper. Okay, but if it didn't dissolve, you say did not dissolve. Simply C is did not dissolve. That's your observation. Then your inference, you would say C is an insoluble salt. But in my own case now, I observed that C dissolved to form a blue solution, and I inferred that C is a soluble salt. Then you go ahead and take a little amount of C from the test tube and add to another test tube. So solution of C, you add to another test tube, and then you add sodium hydroxide in drops. And what would you observe? That a blue gelatinous precipitate will be formed. Okay, now you then add this sodium hydroxide in excess, and you see that the precipitate does not dissolve, and that shows that this ion, there is an ion present there which could be Cu2 plus, copper ion. So we infer that Cu2 plus is present. We've not confirmed yet. What I'm saying is, you take a little amount of C from the solution, from the test tube that you just made, and put it in another test tube. Then in that test tube, in this new test tube, you add sodium hydroxide to the C solution in drops. You just add 1 or 2 drops, and when you add, you check what you observe. You observe that there will be a blue gelatinous precipitate formed. Gelatinous means it's sticky. It sticks to the walls. It's like pap. Okay, it's like gel. It's jelly. It's gel-like or something. So a blue gelatinous precipitate. Precipitate is that stuff that does not dissolve. It's you find it inside the liquid. It doesn't dissolve. That's a precipitate. So, but it's blue in color. So you observe everything you see there. It's a blue precipitate, and that precipitate is gelatinous in nature. So it's a blue gelatinous precipitate formed. Then when you add sodium hydroxide in excess, just not in drops now, you allow it to pour in, and then you keep shaking, and then you see if it will dissolve. But it doesn't dissolve, then you report that precipitate is insoluble, that does not dissolve, and then that means that Cu2 plus may be present there. But let's confirm if that's true. So we get another test tube, and then take another solution of that C into this new test tube, and then use ammonia now, not sodium hydroxide again. We add ammonia in drops. We see that also a blue gelatinous precipitate will be formed. So you infer that copper is present. But then when you add ammonia in excess, you allow it to pour in now, the precipitate will dissolve. Unlike that of sodium hydroxide, in excess it didn't dissolve. So the precipitate now in excess ammonia NH3 will dissolve and form a deep blue solution. Once you see that, that is a confirmation that Cu2 plus is present in that salt solution. So once you've confirmed, you won't write Cu2 plus present again, you say Cu2 plus confirmed. Okay, so you've tested with sodium hydroxide and ammonia. So you see, copper ions will not dissolve in excess of sodium hydroxide, but will dissolve in excess of ammonia. So that is a distinguishing test for copper ions, Cu2 plus ions. So when you treat it with sodium hydroxide in drops and then in excess, it won't dissolve. It will be completely soluble. But when you treat it with ammonia in drops, it will not be soluble, but in excess of ammonia, it will be soluble. Understand that. Alright? And then you've analyzed to find Cu2 plus ions in that solution. So we go ahead. If maybe your own question paper, you are given to find also the sulfate ions, then you have to go ahead. Remember, you may not be given everything here. You may be given just 2 of them, or 1 of them, or all of them. So I'm giving you everything that's possible that you would see there. So if in your own case they look for copper ions, but they don't want you to find sulfate ions, then fine. And then they want you to find glucose, test for glucose, and that's fine. That means you'll be looking for CO2 plus and then test for sugar. But then I may also be given to find SO4 2 minus and Cu2 plus and no test for glucose. Or you may be asked to find all of them, or whatever it is, I've got you covered now. So if you are asked to find the sulfate ions, the negative sulfate anion, then the test is going to look like this. Take that solution of C, but this time we add barium chloride, aqueous barium chloride. So we dissolve barium chloride and then add it to C. We'll see that we have a white chalky precipitate. It's like you grind chalk and put inside water. Whether you shake it 100 times, it won't dissolve. It will still be suspended. If you allow it to stand, it will settle to the bottom. So that's how you will see that. That's what you will observe when you add barium chloride to that C solution, because barium chloride has that chalky nature. So the chalky nature of barium chloride is just what you found there. Okay, now that is a sign that carbonate ions, sulfite ions, or sulfate ion may be present. So you write in your inference CO3 2 minus, SO3 2 minus, and SO4 2 minus present. You don't know which one yet, because you then have to take a confirmation test to be sure which one it is. Now take note, you must list these three out, because these three anions will have this same observation with barium chloride. So you must list all of them out, because when you want to confirm, your confirmatory test must be something that is part of the one you listed out. Like this, when you add to the barium chloride and the C you've added, you now add excess hydrochloric acid. So you just pour in hydrochloric acid into that solution containing C and barium chloride. You will see that the white chalky precipitate will not dissolve. So hydrochloric acid is not even enough to dissolve it. That's what it means. So that is now how sulfate ions would behave. Sulfide and carbonate ions wouldn't behave that way. So that's when you've confirmed that it's actually SO4 2 minus ions that are present in that solution of C also. If your SO4 2 minus was not in that list after you added barium chloride plus C, where you listed CO3 2 minus, SO3 2 minus, and SO4 2 minus, if SO4 2 minus wasn't there, and then when you add excess hydrochloric acid, you suddenly wrote SO4 2 minus confirmed, you won't be given any mark, because you didn't even suspect SO4 2 minus. Where are you confirming it from? So you must add it to your suspected ions before you confirm it. Okay, so you've confirmed, or you've analyzed the salts to find the positive ions, copper 2 plus, Cu2 plus, and then you found the negative ion, SO4 2 minus. So you see how that makes you know that that salt had that salt mixture. One of the mixtures was CuSO4, copper sulfate, because you found all the ions now and you've known. That's what salt analysis is about. You don't know the salt, but you have to then carry out some tests to find the ions present in that salt, and with that you will now know what salt it was. Okay, now if you are asked to maybe want to test everything, remember before I said that it was a mixture of two salts. You just found one salt, copper sulfate. What is the other thing? Okay, what is the other thing? So if you are asked, if your examiner wants you to find every single thing present in that mixture of two salts, then you're going to be asked to carry out this test now. So you take another test tube and put in some amount of C that you prepared to the new test tube. Now when you do that, you add Fehling's solution to it. Now Fehling's solution has to be prepared. I'm sure your examiners, they will prepare the Fehling solution and keep there for you, because Fehling solution is a mixture of Fehling's A and Fehling's B. If it's not prepared for you, you'll be given steps in your question paper to prepare the Fehling solution. So don't be afraid. But most times the Fehling solution has already been mixed up and prepared and kept there for you. So what you just do is you just add the already prepared Fehling solution into the solution of C and check what you observe. Nothing until you start warming the test tube. So in this case now you are using a heat resistant test tube, because you know you are going to warm. So you put C and add Fehling solution depending on how they are asked to add. Maybe they said 10 cm cube, about 2 cm cube, or in drops or whatever. You add according to instruction, and then you go to the Bunsen burner or whichever source of heat and warm the solution. When you warm it, you will discover that a brick red precipitate will be formed. A reddish brown precipitate will be formed, and you put it under your observation that a brick red precipitate is formed. And if brick red precipitate is formed when you add Fehling solution to something and warm it, then that something has to be glucose or a reducing sugar. Okay, so that's when you will say that glucose is present, or you can say that a reducing sugar is present. So you now know that that mixture of two salts is, one is copper sulfate and the other is glucose. All right, so that is salt analysis. In your exam hall, these are the possible tests you would see, because this is the only way you will find the copper ions present in there, sulfate ions, and the test for glucose. So I will drop a video of this process, but this is what you are supposed to report in your examination. Okay, so observe how it's written and write it the same way. Don't copy and paste. In case you are given test for copper ions and not given test for sulfate ions, understand the steps. I'm sure you can't understand completely if you don't see a video of how it's done. I'm going to do a video separately so that you understand what you are just listening to right now, or what you're just watching now. So what I'm saying is, take notes of what steps and the observations you should report if you are to find copper ion. What steps, what test and observation you are to report if you are to find sulfate ions, and what test and observation you are to report if you are to test for glucose or reducing sugar. Okay, remember to subscribe to this channel, like and share the videos to your friends who are preparing for exams also, so that they will ace the exams with us, and hit the notification bell so that the new video I'm going to drop on this salt analysis, you easily see it as it drops. Thank you for watching. God bless you.